We're live setting up for the press conference that begins at 10:30 with Dr. Willie Wilson.
I just had to grab from the black eye when he's sitting over there.
Press conference will be starting
How are you?
shortly. We're a little early, but we like to be early so we can do what we need to do. You need another test?
Yeah, in a minute.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me just.
I like that one. It comes up and puts stuff under the bottom too.
Yeah. They need to make sure. Sometimes you know how it goes. You just want to have something to say.
We'll probably, once we see our shots, we'll probably be back out. We're still shooting our way. Just a little. That's it.
We're waiting for the press conference to start. It starts at 10:30, but they're always early. Actually, Dr. Willie Wilson is already here. They're just doing some preliminary work because you can see the federal building is in the background. We had to move across the street because they didn't want us shooting right in front of the building. So, but as you can see, the building is right there.
Just give you a heads up, man. The stand's not spread all the way. It's resting on the center, but it should be out.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just sit
Just
it
like that. We have to get a wind. That's fine right there. We should move back.
Keep it here?
Yeah, I think we
Just
should
move back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're really tight, man. That shot is really. I mean, I don't know if she needs to be that tight, but it seems like we can do that. Just a little bit. Give a little breathing room, you know? Because I don't know. right, thanks.
Here comes another cameraman. This is going to be an interesting press conference. His intentions are to make the announcement about suing the Chicago Board of Elections for the 77 polling places being closed. So if the polling places are closed, that means the person can't vote. And if they can't vote,
Yeah, well, we were over there.
the powers that be don't want change in the community. They want to keep things just as they are. They want to keep the black and brown communities and Asian communities and Polish communities. They want to keep them under their wing. And that is the reason for this lawsuit, to bring this information to light to the general public. So this press conference will be starting at 10:30, and we would appreciate it for those watching to please share it, because all of the voters in the state of Illinois, especially in the city of Chicago, need to know what's going on in the polling places. Thank you for your patience.
All right, 10:27. We'll be starting real soon. Like to start on 10.
To hear what he has to say.
Yeah, sure.
Today is Monday, August 29th. The press conference is going to start at 10:30 a.m. So we will see focusing on suing the Chicago Board of Elections
world.
Yeah.
To say the least, right? And if
I
not the
thought it
whole
would have
world,
been here. I thought it was DC.
okay. Right.
Oh my God. That's alarming.
And none of this.
And nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's like everything is okay, so what do you think is going to happen with
Right. Okay.
I don't know if they will sell this.
All the respect for a friend. We,
We cover most of it.
Oh, you do?
Does everybody have their color right? Everything is good to go? We all set? I'm attorney Richard Boykin, and I'm here today on behalf of Dr. Willie Wilson. Earlier today, through his attorney, Dr. Willie Wilson filed a federal lawsuit, an injunction to enjoin the Board of Elections from carrying through with their consolidation plan. As you all are well aware, the Board of Elections has actually decided to close 779 precincts. Dr. Wilson believes that closing 779 precincts will disenfranchise voters. Quite frankly, the Board of Elections has indicated that they will not list the polling locations that will close until October. That actually is about 30 days from the November 8th election. This actually will not provide enough notice for voters who are voting in the general election who might actually lose the right to vote. Dr. Willie Wilson is concerned about access to voting. He's concerned about people not being disenfranchised, and he's concerned about voter suppression. This intentional action by the board comes right upon the heels of the general election, but also the municipal elections, which get underway tomorrow with the circulating of petitions. And so Dr. Wilson wants to make sure, along with the other plaintiffs that have joined him in this lawsuit, that people's right to vote is not trampled upon. And so we filed earlier this morning through attorney Andy Finkel. He could not be here this morning because he had another court case, but he is willing to take questions, and so I will provide you with his number so you can call him, but also a copy of the filing is available in court, or I can send you a copy as well. With that being said, it gives me great privilege and honor to present to you one who is a businessman, a philanthropist, a candidate for mayor of Chicago, but also a civil rights leader. Just the other day, he sent a letter to the civil rights organizations, to Rainbow Push, to the Urban League, to the NAACP, urging them to get involved in protecting the right to vote for all people in Chicago, in the 77 neighborhoods and communities. And so, with that being said, Dr. Willie Wilson will talk about why he filed the lawsuit and what he hopes to accomplish from it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting you Dr. Willie Wilson.
All right, good. Thank you. All right, thank you. Hey, look, let me thank the Lord for His amazing grace and acknowledge the news media. Thank you for coming out today. And also acknowledge Bishop Portman and also former State Senator Richard Henderson, and also Rob Ferreira as well, when council president. He's attorney civil rights as well. Let me just say this too. We filed today electronic, and you have a copy on the phone. The internet and put it down electronic, but there's a copy of it here. Right here for all the files complaint. But look, we filed because also because it violates people's civil rights. If you take, for example, we have a lot of senior citizens. Our senior citizens are our number one voter out of the whole state of perhaps around the whole country of senior citizens. Mind you now, they live off of fixed income. For them to move the poll, let's say a mile away or 5 or 6 blocks, is unfair to our number one voter. All right? In the whole city of Chicago, whole county, state of Illinois, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong to try to say they want to save $2 million, all right, out of this whole process. Look, Dr. King, way back in his day, fought for the civil rights movement, for people to be able to vote. I was unable to vote when I lived down south. Ever since I moved up north, I've been able to vote. I've been voting. I've not been voting, right? The young people, the middle-aged people, all the citizens of the country still have a right to be able to get to the polls within their particular district area where they're accustomed to going to. Right. They're going to confuse the voters. I didn't even know where my poll is. I guess right now I'm living downtown, but who knows where mine is at now? All right? Just became aware of this as well. And I believe that you're supposed to, according to Attorney Portman, you're supposed to give the public at least some type of notice so they can voice their concerns and be able to talk about this here. But to take that for them to do this here is moving time back to the Jim Crow days, which we should not allow to happen. Now, this is not a political situation for me. I would be doing this even if I was running for office. Because too many people have died for us to have a right to vote. All right? If it was down in Georgia, down that place, down Georgia, where they deprived people of their vote. All right? But now we're talking Chicago. And we're talking the mayor and the city council control the budget for the board of directors. And they know what they're doing. All right? So, but it is wrong, so we're making an appeal to the judge to make this decision to delay this process and make sure that people can come out and vote. So, hopefully that they will sign about this right away and that we could get this started about this election. If they're going to do it in terms of changing things, they should not do it right now. If they're going to do it, why don't they do it after the election? You know, but do it right now, and nobody knows about it. It's wrong. So I'll take any question after Attorney Portman let us come up and speak. I think that Rick Henderson also let him add this because he's a civil rights attorney. know about this, and these guys are lawyers, not me. All right? I just know one thing. I do know my rights. I have a right to vote. I'm picking on behalf of other citizens. We got a right to vote. They have no business closed down in the polls at this particular point in time. Thank you.
I will also say this to add to what Dr. Wilson said. The Board of Elections did not hold any public hearings to give the communities that will be impacted an opportunity to voice their opinions. All they did is spoke with the aldermen and got the agreement with the aldermen to cut the precincts. Now, the days of backroom deals are over. You can't do that, not when it comes to the vote. Also, there was no analysis done by the Board of Elections as to what impact this might have on African Americans, on Latinos, on Asians, on the Polish community, or anybody else. And so, for these reasons, Dr. Wilson filed this lawsuit as the lead plaintiff. One of the other plaintiffs in this lawsuit happens to be standing for election in November, the November 8th election. He's running for president of the Cook County Board, and that is former Alderman Bob Fioretti, who's also a civil rights lawyer. Alderman Fioretti.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Wilson, for being what's happening. One thing I've noticed on all the years that our commonality is that we are both cost conscious. We know that we have to save money. As elected people, we are stewards of the taxpayers' money. And here we need to be smart and cost effective. But this is a question of timing. How do we make sure the voters are informed and educated? Voter turnout is already at historic lows. So we need to raise awareness, not decrease the voter ability to have access to the polls. Voter registration and education and information is key at this point. Then we can do the changes that may be advocated by the board. It shouldn't be done in such close proximity of the election or elections that we see. We need to be thoughtful, reason, and at the same time apply something that is always missing, common sense, from the individuals who run the Chicago Board of Education election. We cannot adequately prepare, I as an attorney, strategically on which of the precincts that we should be looking at under this regard. I have to go further and say something. This is a blatant and bold attempt by the board to suppress the vote of those who wish to stand against the status quo, not only in November, but in February. And by eliminating access, it confuses the voters. Our type of voters, and I know that many of the same ones that will be voting for Dr. Wilson are voters that like to vote on the last day, the last moment they go to the polls. And the history, they are more often than not, have a history of voting on the last day. This is a slow motion bait and switch right in front of everyone. That is why we filed this lawsuit today. As a civil rights attorney and one who has been involved in voting rights cases, I believe we can prevail. Again, I thank Dr. Wilson for being the lead plaintiff. I'm second in there out of all the plaintiffs, and this needs to have right adjudication, right information, so that people that vote in this election have all access and are not denied the access. Richard had just said something about the aldermen. Very seldom are the aldermen consulted. I know that from years. I tried to make all of my precincts, and I did. I was successful of making them ADA compliant. Right after I was removed and mapped out to the far north side, they put all the precincts back into areas that were not ADA compliant. 20% of the current precincts in the city of Chicago are not ADA compliant. So we need to to stop what's going on. We need to make sure voters have access and ability and information to get to the polls and know where the polls are at. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bob Fioretti, for that insight. Now I want to bring to the microphone former State Senator Ricky Hendon, also a community activist and one who's been engaged to try to make sure that we protect the vote of everybody throughout the community. State Senator Hendon.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate former Alderman Bob Fioretti for bringing out the civil rights aspect of this, because this is the most important part to me. Dr. Wilson's fighting for all the polling places citywide, and that's great. But we need to know on the civil rights part that the black community is getting hit the hardest. 50% of the black polling places are going to be moved or closed. Half. Now, by comparison, in the 13th Ward, Madigan's Ward, they had 48 polling places. They're only going down to 40. What? Black wards are losing 20, 30 polling places, and Madigan's Ward is only losing 13. The 23rd Ward, Lipinski's Ward, had 39 polling places. They're only going down to 33. So they're only losing 6. So when the Board of Elections, with a sleight of hand, say to you, oh, it's 40%. It's not 40% for every damn body. It's only, and it's higher than that for blacks. The Latino community is losing also a high number of polling places. The question is why? To save $2 million and kill our democracy? If this was down south, the Democratic National Committee of the President of the United States, if this was in Georgia where Stacey Abrams was running for governor, all of them would be screaming, Jim Crow, Republicans this and Republicans that, and Trump's trying to suppress the black vote. We're not going to let the Democrats do it, because then the Republicans will have a playbook nationwide on how to suppress the black vote and get away with it, blaming on the budget or something stupid like that.
Thank you very much, Senator Hendon. Now I want to bring to the microphone the Honorable Dr. Willie Wilson for any questions that you all might have.
All right, any questions?
So can you explain to us how you arrived at the number of 779? Is that it? Yeah, I mean, has the board been...
That is the number from the Chicago Board of Elections.
Okay, and then would you agree with what Senator Hendon said, that they are in predominantly black and brown communities?
Well, we have not been able to look at it, but Senator uses the research he used to do it very well. And so we're taking the face value. He said it that way, so I'm sure you all want to recheck it out as well. But one poll district Senate is too much. And it's a matter of time. It's a matter of it's a matter of time. You know, if you're going to do something, you would have to be election. All right? But election's going on right now. It's a matter of time.
But I mean, is there always an election? You've got the midterms now, then you've got the city, then you've got the county, right? I mean, when would be a good time? How much time do they need?
Well, first of all, let me say this, that to answer your first question, the board has not put out yet the number of polling places that will be closed. What they have submitted is a proposal of consolidation proposing 779 precincts. Most of those precincts are polling stations. Now, they haven't said, they said in October they will put out the list of polling stations that will be closed. What Dr. Wilson and everybody else is saying is that that's too close to the November election. It's too close to the February election. It will cause great confusion. It will devastate our democracy.
The original number of polling places that they were going to close before Dr. Wilson spoke up was 1,100. So they've now gone from 1,100 to 779. We're going to get their butt down even lower than that, because people have a right to vote. So their original number, as Bob was about to say, is 1,100. And I spoke with Andy Pinko this morning. That's the way to make sure I reminded everybody that their original number was 1,100 polling places, about half. And precinct closures, polling places follow it, because they also said to us only one polling place per precinct. So if it's only one, we said to them, put two in a precinct and spread it around. Why should people have to go all over town to vote?
You know, you're raising an interesting point on the number of precincts in the greater Chicago area. In 2012, there were 2,069 precincts in the city of Chicago. In 2018, in the primary, there were 1,449. It was much less at that point. Now, without the consolidation, there are 1,290. So when you eliminate the 700 plus 779 precincts, you come up with a total number. Now, the other problem, and we can address this, is the issue of how many are now in a precinct that went from 800 to 1,800. So let's assume we've got some of these precincts where people are more inclined to vote on the last day. All of the voters, both in the November election and in the February election, they could have lines that go on for hours. You know, and I think Senator said hit it right on the head. I mean, this is a democratically controlled board, and people would be raising holy hell about what's going on here. And we have to look at what the issues are, and if the lines are long, they're never going to end up voting even on that day.
If they can find the polling place. Y'all confused, they got confused, they are.
Well, anyway, any more questions?
Dr. Wilson, what about a counter strategy of encouraging early voting and voting by mail? Is there a way to contact those voters that usually vote on the day of election and have them do that?
Well, it's too late at this point in time in the game. People trying right now to find ways to buy groceries. You know, with the inflation, they try to find a way to get to work. You know, they don't have time to think about voting, but just to survive and get food in the house, just to have gasoline to get to work. You know, it's just tough out here. It's hard times. That's why we spend millions and millions of dollars helping the community. You know, it's just wrong timing. If anything, you ought to take triple that $2 million that they trying to save.
Yeah,
You ought to double, triple it 100 times to get more people to come out and vote.
exactly.
That is the problem right there. It's just not using common sense. You know, I really think it's done on purpose. I really do. You know, there are 1,000 different ways that you can save dollars. But look, it's done on purpose. That's why we take it to the court. Let the court make the decision for us. We'll do all things possible within the law to make sure this thing works for us.
Right.
You know.
Are you only invested in this because you're running for mayor against Lori Lightfoot, or do you think that this is beyond political? Can you just expand more about why this isn't just a political move for you because you're running for mayor?
Well, look, forget about the political stuff. It's more important for me that people vote. If people want to vote for me for mayor, that's fine. But I would take the right for people to be able to vote and give up the mayor.
Man, to that.
Dr. Wilson, Ken here from Chicago News Weekly. Why do you think the city would want to try to save $2 million on the back of the voters?
Well, I think it's to really the thing is to the press. The voter people, I can't say exactly why and nothing like that. I just know it's wrong. And I have my suspicion on it as well. I use imagination, and that kind of would draw the conclusion to it. $2 million. I mean, let the mayor pay for her parking ticket when the people ran the red light. That $2 million. I don't think she even paid that yet. You know. So look, I think it's a flaw. I think it's wrong. I think to let something like this happen.
And who stands to benefit from suppressing the vote?
Well, I think it's according to people telling me, the person who's already elected official. Right. You know, they're the ones standing the most. But the good thing about it, this is a democratic city. You know, if it was, they holler about the Republicans. Now, but what about themselves? You know, this is a democratic city, democratic country. Let half and half, but democratic. Take away a person's right, it just plain on wrong. You know, so we have to look at that, and I hope that every citizen get behind us, and every politician that's right, the news media. That's why I think your news media is coming out today to put this more out. It's wrong. It ain't about fair. You know, it's about my rights.
You mentioned before you lived in Illinois that you weren't able to vote. Can you expand on that? Can you explain more about it?
Say it again.
You said that you weren't able to vote before you lived in Illinois. Can you explain?
Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. And, you know, in Louisiana, we weren't allowed to vote. In Louisiana, we weren't allowed to cross the street. In Louisiana, we walk towards anyone. We had to, particularly of the Harvard race, we had to turn out and look down at the ground. You know, we weren't allowed to go in the same restaurant and eat together in Louisiana. You know, we learned to overcome that because every citizen, whether you're white, black, Asian American, Latino American, is entitled to vote. You know, but in this case, particularly the minority, have fought so hard, so many have lost their lives. You know, so it is wrong to deprive anybody, particularly the minority already down. The vote was depressed. Less than 20% came out last time to vote. We cannot allow this to happen. You know, and again, I say this too. This is not about political. This is about my rights. This is about my father couldn't vote. My grandfather couldn't vote. My every generation besides me and my family could not vote. This is deep, like still water run deep. Right? Every generation in my family could not vote. I'm the only one in my generation who can vote in my family. Yeah.
I have a question for one of the attorneys. Do the Board of Elections have a legal obligation to engage the voting public before these suggested changes?
The answer is about somewhat yes. They have to notify of change of precincts. The problem is right now, the change of precincts probably is not finalized and may not be finalized until the end of September. And then after that, they have to mail out to every voter in the city a notification. And we don't have the problem to have them mail.
Right. So we don't get your mail.
Yeah.
And to add to that too is that whether they have a right or not, this is a moral right. When I say moral right, that's Trump, everything else. It is a moral right. Every citizen in this country, in Chicago, around the country, should be raised the sand about this particular situation. It is a moral right, you know, a duty, you know. So this one kind of stepped on my nerves, you know. Look, I can use my money for giving to the people for food. Now I'm using some of my money now to fight something that is wrong. You know, and all the people out here looking for food to eat, gasoline, things of that nature, I could be using those dollars to help those people. All right? Thank you all very much.
Thank you all for coming.
Appreciate it, all right? All right.
Thank you.
Well, the conference has concluded on Dr. Willie Wilson. He did file the lawsuit, and the updates will be on our blog at selfesteems.org. Go ahead.
Hi, I have just seen a press conference by Dr. Wilson in which there is a lawsuit being filed against the election for proposing to take away some of the precinct polling places. And citizens are going to feel the difference when they
If you
can't
want to
find
take a
where they
picture of
should
the
vote
front
for
cover of the
election.
filing, let us know. around or bring it in front of your camera or take it with your cell phone.
Right.
She's just doing a promo for it.
Yeah, they can download it. Commissioner,
Thank you very much.
how do they download it?
On air everywhere. It's on air everywhere, right?
Yes.
We'll,
On air everywhere. Everywhere.
I'm gonna give you a card. My desk is.
absolutely.
Yes, yes. I'll give you that as well. Yeah. Believe you found sick. I was in your place on election night several years ago. Yes, in your condo, the high rise. Me and Harlan.
Awesome.
Must be nice. We all need to be friends with you.
The lawsuit filed by Dr. Willie Wilson in federal court today to stop the closing of the polling places by the Board of Elections.
When did you move to what year? I mean, I think it's really important for the Board of Elections to answer like what they're doing.
Great question.
All right, man.
So,
Thank you.
Can I get you to turn? Oh, just let me get one more. Just
Uh-huh. Tell me to tilt it or whatever you need. You good right there?
All right, good.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. Explain to us, Ricky.
Hey, good.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Okay, so they get in touch with you so we can
Okay, you can
go on the show and
help us with some stuff. All right.
And this is Ricky Hendon, political consultant to Dr. Willie Wilson campaign. Explain what they're watching.
Okay, this is the lawsuit filed by Dr. Willie Wilson in federal court today to stop the Board of Elections. I'll start. Hold on here. This is a copy of the lawsuit filed by Dr. Willie Wilson in federal court today to stop the Chicago Board of Elections from closing 700 to 1,100 polling places in the city of Chicago, which will confuse voters and make a low turnout even worse. This is wrong. If this was Alabama, or Georgia, or Mississippi, the entire Democratic Party nationwide would be up in arms, screaming about voter suppression and voter intimidation and all of those things, and blaming the Republican Party for being racist and doing it. But this is a Democratic city, and the Democratic Board of Elections is trying to do this, mostly to Black and Latino polling places. It's a 40% reduction, but the Black polling places are over 50%, while you have some white polling places that are only losing 6 or 8 polling places. Black wards losing 20 and 30 polling places. It's wrong.
And if you could just bring that in a little bit so we can see a little bit more. All right, as you can see, this is a civil lawsuit filed by Dr. Willie Wilson. And if you want a copy of this, you want to see that, where would they go?
They can download it from the federal court, or we're going to have it on Dr. Willie Wilson's Facebook page.
Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Ricky Hinton speaking here.
Yeah, this is the lawsuit.
Yeah. So, but
This is the
we're
lawsuit filed by
ready to
Dr.
move
Willie
for
Wilson,
TRO to stop
federal
the
court to stop the Chicago Board of Elections,
and a preliminary
closing all of these polling
the
places
TRO is
citywide.
limited
About 11 polling places, now
our
around
aim is to,
8 polling places.
invalidate
Use
the whole
voters,
scheme.
won't know where to go
I mean,
vote.
You really look at it.
Horrible
and
idea.
You gotta
Voter
wonder
suppression behind Alabama or Mississippi,
why a
Georgia.
democratically
Democratic
controlled
National Committee is screaming
board
voter
wants
suppression
to
and
stop
Republican
this.
racism. But it's the city of Chicago.
Like you said, it's all
Stop
about
it.
like Dr. Wilson said, this is benefiting those who are incumbents.
Yeah. One of the aldermen earlier this year said, if they had to drive 2 miles, it's voter suppression. If it's long lines, it's voter suppression. And that's what's happening right now. So, yeah.
So is it mostly the elderly that tend to perhaps wait till
Yeah.
election day, that
Right.
sort of thing?
And in Chicago, the last election, I should say, the last, not this primary, but before, the largest turnout was from 55 and up, and including the June primary.
Wow.
Yeah, and they all tend to vote on the last day.
Yeah. It's going to get
And-
confusing.
I've been in precincts and in every ward.
All right.
I see.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's the possibility.
Yeah,
Well, thanks so much. We'll keep in contact.
definitely. Thank you.
Oh, 656.
Okay, Naima, you want to give us a closing comment?
All right. Go ahead. And I'm Naima Latif, watching the Higher Learning Network. And just got to talk to you.
All right,
You're ready.
Thank you all.
One of the attorneys that is part of this lawsuit that will be filed perhaps to stop the closing of precincts that could definitely suppress the voter turnout. So we'll keep you informed and stay tuned to the Higher Learning Network.
Which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19, and 24/7 on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. And I'm going to find that and put that up there so we can subscribe. All right, thank you, Attorney Boykin. And thank you for the viewers that are watching. And be sure and share this video. They need to know that the polling, 50% of the polling places have been closed, and that affects everybody in the Black and brown community. And thanks for watching and sharing.